Hello and welcome to TechEd 2024. So it's really amazing how many people joining us live today. So my name is Stefanie Stang and I'm from the SAP BTP product management team. And here with me today I have on my left Konstantin Heine and on my right Steffen Schad. So we already had many amazing announcements in our keynote today, what we heard from Michael and Muhammad. So within the next 45 minutes in our session today, we will explore some topics and provide the next level of details for the SAP Business Technology Platform general track. We will start with the product strategy, discuss how customers use SAP BTP, and of course, then later on we have time for your questions and we're here to answer them. After this session, of course, you will have a full picture and pick the best sessions out of it. So we will point out a few sessions and I'm pretty sure maybe you have some of them not on the radar right now and you will bookmark them. So also that you can really watch them live or on demand. Before we start, we would like to hear from you, of course, what's top of mind. And for that, I'm pretty sure my colleague Konstantin has prepared something.
Yeah, of course. You mentioned already a couple of topics, and the track overview is a completely new format this year. So if you've joined TechEd last year, you probably haven't seen this format. And we want to make this as interactive as possible. So there will be a Q&A in the end, but already now you have the chance to give us your input. So we would really like to know what's on your mind when you hear SAP BTP. And in a couple of seconds on the event platform, you should see the possibility to enter a couple of things. So in our word cloud, so don't worry, it's not a new product that we announced today, but it's really embedded into the platform. So take the time during our presentation and enter what's on your mind for BTP, and we will come to that later. And talking about the keynote, Steffen, you, I think, will put a little bit context around this with BTP and the keynote announcements.
Yeah, thank you, Konstantin. So let us maybe start off by, again, talking a little bit about the BTP product strategy and then putting the keynote announcement into context of our product strategy. As you know, as most of you also will know, BTP plays 3 roles for SAP. So number 1, it is our own application development platform and our runtime for our cloud applications. And number 2, the BTP services also provide the, I'll call it glue between our cloud applications, so making sure that they behave in concert as a single coherent product suite. And then third, and I believe that's why most of the viewers today join us here, it is also an innovation platform for our customers and for our partners. So now we, as the product team for BTP, we have to ask ourselves if we want to have our customers and our partners use BTP for innovating for their businesses, right? So why should they go to BTP and not to any other platform out there? So what we believe is what makes us different out there is our big focus on the B in BTP, so the focus on the business.
If I look at the slide, it's clear to me it's a platform, because already the graphic shows this a little bit. We're presenting a TechEd, so it's probably also pretty clear that's about technology. Could you give us a little bit more insights into the business? Because this is, I think, what's of most people's interest.
Sure. So let me try to make that a little bit more tangible, right? So with SAP and with our heritage, we're built on understanding and supporting business processes for our customers for the past 50 plus years. So a platform that's coming from SAP need to enable its users, us, our customers and partners, to efficiently and effectively build and run business applications, small application extensions, large business applications, and it has to be able to integrate into any IT landscapes. And we call that focus on the business aspects, we call that business centricity internally. So if I try to make that still a little bit more tangible, business centricity manifests itself in 3 dimensions that you see here on the slide. So the first one is what we call the business context. So again, if you use BTP, it is usually in context of a business process, in context of a business system. And for most of our customers, that's going to be in context of an SAP system. So what we try to make sure, while staying open to integrate with any system out there, is that we optimize the platform for use with SAP applications. And if I relate that back to the announcements that we had earlier from Michael, I believe the extensibility wizard that we now have in SAP Build is a prime example for such an innovation that enables the business context. So you can take the context of the transaction, of the business process that you want to extend, you can take that over into SAP Build and then start from there very quickly to create your own applications. The second dimension in our business centricity focus here is what's called here on the slide the accelerated business outcome focus. So what that means is that we want to make sure that if our customers and partners use BTP, they get to the results quickly. So what does it mean? We do not only want to provide pure technology services, but we also want to create accelerators, ready-made templates, repeatable use cases, so anything that helps our customers get productive on the platform quickly. So think of the iFlows, the integration flows, ready-made, pre-packaged integrations between SAP, SAP non-SAP. If you look to build process automation, we have workflow templates, we have ready-made automation bots, that kind of thing. If you look to SAP Analytics Cloud, we have ready-made dashboards that customers can start their journey from, right? So all the things that we do to enhance productivity and make life easier and projects quicker for our customers, that's what we would put into that bucket of accelerated business outcomes. And absolutely, if I look back to the keynotes, also all the announcements that we have when it comes to generating code or using Gen AI to create code and content on BTP, not only for CAP-based applications with Build Code, which we had, but also the keynote announcement today that we're going to have that on the ABAP stack. That is, again, a prime example for me on how we deliver new features that support this accelerated business outcomes paradigm. And then the third one, that's here on the slide, that is a business-friendly experience. What we mean here is that we want our services to not only be able to be used by highly trained IT staff, but also where appropriate, have business users be able to use our services to create their own scenarios. So, and the second thing that I nearly forgot is we also want to make sure that we can foster collaboration between the IT departments and the business stakeholders. Again, think back to the keynote, right? We had Michael talked about the SAP Analytics Cloud Compass, right? A new feature that enables the business user to run highly complex risk and planning scenarios. Or our unification of SAP Build in the application development space, the prime announcement from today, we want to make sure by putting all the application development tools that we have in a single product with SAP Build, low code and pro code in all the development languages that we support. We want to make sure that we support these fusion teams between IT and the business to be productive on BTP. Now, all of that, all those business-centric innovations are all only nice to have if we don't put it on a solid foundation, right? And that's why I'm super happy that we had Michael also talk about the investments that we do in our foundational qualities day by day. So think about the availability levels that we achieved last year. Michael talked about that. Or think about our build out of data centers across the globe so that we can have our customers use BTP where they sit. So that is for us also very important that we don't forget the foundational investments here as part of our product strategy. So with that, I hope I was able to explain a little bit what we're focusing on in terms of our product strategy and how all of that manifests itself in the innovations that we heard back in the keynote today and how that supports our customers' businesses.
Steffen, great. Thanks a lot for that overview. So you just talked about customers and business. Can you maybe explain us a little bit more how our customers are really using SAP BTP?
Sure. Let me give you a couple of examples. So what you can see here on the slides is the winners of this year's SAP Innovation Award. So for those of you not familiar with the SAP Innovation Awards, it's an annual award where our customers and partners present the business innovation scenarios that they create using SAP applications and SAP technology. And what you see here is this year's winners. Something that we have been noticing over the past years is that more and more and more, and right now it's the majority actually, of these customer use cases and scenarios are using parts or all of BTP, right? So, I mean, the Innovation Awards and that information is available public for all of those, you viewing this and are interested in more details in all of these cases. You can find them on our websites. What's for me, this is a super source of inspiration as well, if I see all the different ways of how our customers are using BTP. So just picking 3 examples maybe here from this broad list of customers in here. Let me start with the Federal Foreign Office of Germany. For the German speakers, the Auswärtiges Amt, right? What the German Federal Foreign Office has done with the help of BTP is that they have taken a complex and highly individual and often manual process, namely taking care of citizen inquiries, right? And they've used BTP to streamline and automate that process. So you can think of the Federal Office with their main office in Berlin and also the embassies around the globe. They get loads of customer requests, citizen requests and inquiries every day. Anything from lost my passport somewhere abroad to I'm in a region where there's a crisis, how can I get home? All kinds of different questions. And they've used now BTP to centralize the response process to all of these requests on a single platform. So they're taking all the requests in. They're using AI to respond to these questions with BTP automatically wherever possible. So they manage now to get half of their citizen requests and inquiries responded to without human interaction, so big time saver for them. And for those which cannot be responded to automatically, they at least then assign the right processors immediately. So with the consequence that they have 77% of the citizen inquiries responded to on the same day. And I don't know how it's with you. So if I go to my municipal administration offices in the town where I live, if I get a response on the same day, I'm a super happy citizen, right? So that is why this is a great example of how BTP helps, create accelerated business outcomes, in this case, responses to citizen inquiries. Or let me switch gears, go to the US. Let's take Brightspeed here on the slide. As an example, Brightspeed is the 4th largest fiber broadband provider in the US, operating in 20 states. As a telco company, they have massive amounts of billing data in their SAP systems. And they obviously want to use that data to create reports or to get insight into the billing, to help them with their billing processes, help them with dispute resolution, help them with faster revenue recognition and all of these things. Before using BTP, they were taking the data from SAP systems and replicating them manually into an external data platform. That was a process that had to be monitored by the IT staff very closely to make sure nothing goes wrong. A lot of hours going into the monitoring of the replication process. It was a process that also put a lot of load on the operational system, so they had to do it after business hours only, which meant they had new reports only every day at the end of the day. So by introducing DataSphere as part of BTP, they've introduced now a way for them to save loads of the times that they were spending on monitoring or creating customer queries on the data that was transferred into that external data platform that they're still using now. But they preserve the business context. They run the integration to the external data platform automatically. So that's actually saving them 2,000 man hours. So that's 1 or 2 people working every year, actually. So saving them directly a lot of money. That's a nice example of how you can keep the business context, call back to our product strategy, and make life easier for our customers. And then maybe let me wrap that up here with a third and final example that I want to give details on. That's the company Faris. Faris is a Belgian water utilities company. What they have built together with 2 other companies from the same industry, so it's part of a sector collaboration, what they've built is a smart water platform, as they call it. So they're taking data from smart water meters and putting them into a single platform with the effect that they have a much faster insight into water consumption. They're faster in their invoicing process. They can give their customers also more accurate and more timely updates on their water consumption. Or you could even think about recognizing unusual water consumption patterns. So if there's a water leak somewhere, you have an unusual amount of water that you're consuming at a certain meter point, so you can react much faster to any issues that you have in your infrastructure. So again, these 3 examples, and then there's many, many more, give you hopefully some insight into the many ways where BTP can help our customers improve their business or innovate for their businesses.
Thanks a lot. I mean, we see that you have many experience with customers. So, but again, one question from my side. Sorry, Stefan. Do you have typical patterns, I would say, of how our customers are adopting BTP?
Yeah, that's a good question. So again, you saw on the previous slide many different ways of consuming and using BTP for the businesses, from application development, automation, integration, data management, all of these things. But if I try to condense it, maybe level it up and create a couple of patterns or identify a couple of patterns how our customers are using BTP, I believe the 4 that we currently see here on the slide are really representative of how our customers are using the platform. So if you think back about how the German Federal Foreign Office used the platform, they used it to automate and to optimize business processes that were up to here manual, paper-based, email-based, maybe spreadsheet-based. So automating and digitizing those kind of processes, that's actually a pattern where we see many customers take their first steps into BTP. Or with the Brightspeed example, the whole data management and analytics capabilities using them of BTP. So creating a central view on all of their business data across all of the systems that they have. That is also a very common pattern to start with BTP. Integration definitely is a third one that we see, SAP to SAP integration, SAP to non-SAP integration. That's what I would say are fast time to value entry scenarios of adopting BTP. Now, if that is done in context of an ERP or an S4 system, that supports a clean core strategy. Clean core is something that we've been preaching to our customers over the past years, and thankfully the customers and partners have picked up on that. So what we believe is if you put your own developments next to an SAP system and not directly into the SAP system, in particular if that application development would be modifying an SAP system, if you put that on BTP, where it makes sense, it can help you keep the core clean, have faster upgrades, have cheaper upgrades, and then enabling you to follow our innovation cycles. The innovation cycles that we as SAP provide to our customers, follow them much faster. And as many of our customers are starting with the transition to S4, moving to the cloud, right? Going hand in hand in their RISE transformation, in their growth transformation with BTP for all of the things that we've talked about so far, that will also, and that's the 4th pattern that we see, then help them move to the cloud or accelerate the move to the cloud.
And before we come to the word cloud now, let me just pick up a little bit on the clean core. So this will also be covered at TechEd, of course. And it's not in our track, unfortunately, but the AD track, I think, has a session on clean core. So if you're interested, that's your track to go to. I already mentioned the word cloud, and it's a little bit like an eye vision test now, so which is good because the bigger the word is, the easier I can read it, and probably the more important it is. So the one that I see is the digitize, automate, and business processes, probably. So we will cover in our track the topic of enterprise automation, also in the context of Signavio, and we also have a focus on the operations part, including SAP Cloud ALM. I can also see something like business centricity, so you already covered that. And maybe last one, the choice. I mean, this is why we're here, right? To explain why BTP is important. And I think we will also go a little bit into the details when we go through the individual sessions.
And just something, if I may, that I just noticed. I like the bread and butter entry here as well. I don't know if the people are sitting over breakfast right now and getting hungry, but really having then BTP as, you know, a bread and butter ingredient of the IT landscapes of our customers and partners. That is really something that we strive for, that we believe in, and that we hope that we're going to get there.
Absolutely. I think you will give us a little bit an overview on how the topics are covered in TechEd.
Of course, right? Konstantin. So I just wanted to mention the same as you did. So I see a lot of great stuff in our word cloud. Thanks a lot for this. So coming to the TechEd track structure. So this follows the SAP BTP capabilities, what we see here on the slide. So we have dedicated tracks for which focusing on the different pillars, I would say. So what does that mean for you? This means if you are interested in SAP Build, in SAP Build Code or SAP Build Process Automation, then we have here our app development and automation track, where you can learn something about those topics. Then we also have, of course, for our flagship integration suite, our integration track. For SAP DataSphere, SAP HANA Cloud, SAP Analytics Cloud, you can join the Data and Analytics track to learn something out of that. And of course, we will not forget the hottest topic at the moment, AI, which I can also see on the word cloud. Here we have the AI track, which covers everything around our intelligent business solutions. We cover Joule in here and all of that. But last but not least, we also have our BTP general track, where Konstantin and myself are the track leads this year, and also last year, of course, where we cover a lot of topics like security and operations. We have best practices with us. We have strategy and highlights, which Stefan just gave a little bit an overview about it. We have our Discovery Center, where you really learn how to get started, and a lot of more things which we will cover in the BTP general track. So, Konstantin, I think maybe you can then explain the subtracks.
Focus on the track leads.
Yes.
So I hope you agree it's always a challenge to put the different cross topics into one of the buckets here. So security, for example, this is important for integration, but also for AI. So this is why we decided this year again to focus on 3 subtracks. You've probably noticed when you attended TechEd Virtual last year that the subtracks are now specifically reserved for our BTP track. And this has a reason, because we thought also in conversations with customers and partners over the last month that this is really the most important buckets that we would like to convey to you. So we have the first subtrack that is called Overview and Strategy, and as the name already indicates, it's all about getting an overview and giving information on the strategy. And this is also where you get hands-on experience in the Discovery Center. We have a dedicated focus on the Guidance and Operations subtrack, which covers our guidance framework, the Discovery Center, SAP Cloud ALM, but also reference architectures. And last but not least, probably one of the most important topics, security and compliance. We also have an overview session here, cover identity lifecycle management, compliance, and also announce something around disaster recovery. So, Stephanie, we've created a blog post. So you were the ghostwriter because it was published under my name, but I can ensure we both have written the blog post, and we highlighted a couple of sessions that are must-watch of our track. So why don't you give us a little bit an overview of the Overview and Strategy subtrack?
Of course. So let me start with the XP100. There we have a deep dive into the strategy, which just Stefan gave us an overview, and we will then also deep dive into upcoming highlights. We will get a sneak peek. And after this session, of course, you will be able really to see what's in the focus, what's definitely a must-have. So if you want to see Arne Speck, you might know him already from last year, and myself again, then this is definitely a must-have which you should bookmark. So this will happen directly after this session behind me in that studio. Runtime strategy, XP100. So everyone who is in charge of SAP BTP landscapes for developments and all that, at our customers and partners. So really, here we learn how to take our application runtimes into the future, into a non-disruptive fashion, to help really to plan your future. Here we have our expert couple, again, Arne Speck and Jens Hüsken together, so I think they will be the perfect experts for you to explain that. Last but not least, everyone who wants to put hands on right now, we have our Jumpstart, the XP180 for the Discovery Center. So we have a lot of news with us, a lot of enhancements in the Discovery Center. For example, how you can build up sub-accounts within a single click. So here we have Nisboy and Marco Geldmacher, the perfect couple, which explains you that and where you can really put hands on. So I think
now comes the marathon, 8 sessions. Before I start, I heard that Casimir the cat can do some reactions. I hope that he will not do any board reactions right now when I read the 8 sessions. Let's get started. So the first one is the XP100. This is the entry session for end-to-end guidance, really for beginners and experts. And we will cover a couple of topics here around the guidance framework, but also some new announcements around the Discovery Center. I'm not putting this on top because I'm also presenting in the session together with Cecily Sorensen, but I can really recommend the session to attend. If you want to dive a little bit deeper in best practices for operations, monitoring, administration topics, and you would also like to get some information on our just released learning journey for operations, I can recommend the XP200 with Christian Loos and Niklas Siemer, who will then guide you through all the best practice topics that we have. Next, we shift gears a little bit and look a little bit from a tool perspective on BTP. So business transformation management is one of the big topics right now. And we've decided to select 3 sessions that cover a little bit more the tool aspects of BTP. So one is the XP204, which focuses on LeanIX, so enterprise architecture management. And Katrin von Asen, Jens Rieskamp will show you the BTP discovery and how you can basically model BTP in LeanIX and also give you information on best practices. We also have a focus on the business process management side of things. So the XP206, we cover Signavio, and Robin Kiewit and Stefan Schluchter will cover how enterprise automation works together with BTP and how you can basically bring a model into action, which is quite interesting, I think. And then last but not least in this list of 3 sessions, the XP290. This is a session with Microsoft on the reference architectures. So Anirban Mayumda and Holger Bruchelt will show you how we collaborate with Microsoft and how to create reference architectures. But we will also show you a very comprehensive reference architecture so you can see what BTP is able to do. Did you have a look at the cat? I hope it's not bored yet, nope, but more excited.
It is.
I was more surprised. Okay, the remaining 3 sessions. So we also have a focus on SAP Cloud ALM, of course, because DevOps is one of the most important topics here. We will cover in the XP102 a session with Moritz Geisler and Frank Jungmann how BTP and changes in BTP can be covered by Cloud ALM. And the session XP201, so we just switched the numbers to make it easily rememberable. Christian Niedmeyer and Janko Bucic will cover basically how you can cover central observability with BTP when you build your own custom applications with CAP, and how you can use, for example, also the SAP Cloud Logging Service. And last but not least, you mentioned already the first Jumpstart session for the Discovery Center. If you're now not a beginner anymore, but advanced, and you would like something to know about Terraform and how you can automate infrastructure management with BTP, the XP280 with Rui Noguera and Christian Lechner will get you covered. And here you will learn how to use infrastructure automation in BTP. So quite a few sessions. Again, security is somehow everywhere. So Stefan, you will walk us through the remaining sessions.
Sure, but before I come to security, it's something that I just wanted to add on guidance and operations, and I'm ad-libbing this right now. But this is really something that we've been noticing over the past 2 to 3 years, right? With the amount of BTP usage, in particular in mission-critical scenarios and for real business scenarios for our customers, the more customers are using BTP, the higher is the demand for information and guidance on really how to operate and govern BTP on a day-to-day basis. And that's why you see a relatively large number of sessions in this subtract. And I believe that's directly from the demand that we see with our customers. Yeah. Now, switching gears to security and compliance, we have it last but definitely not least. As most all BTP scenarios with customers and partners are touching a business process, are touching business data, security and compliance are obviously top of mind, right? So we need to make sure that also security as a topic is reflected in our TechEd program here, and that's what we have the security and compliance subtract for. First, XP103, the main session here in this subtract, is Michael Friedrich, our Chief Product Owner for the security services of BTP, and Nathalie Bergström. They're going to give an overview on all the services, all the things that we do, but all the things also that customers can use to run and act securely on BTP. And they're also going to give a little bit of a deep dive in a new offering that we have, as we have expanded our audit log service to not only support data coming from SAP applications, but where customers and partners can now use their audit log service as well to store audit relevant log data from their applications. So if you're one of the customers, or if you're in charge of developing an application on BTP, I recommend to attend that session. Next up, the next two sessions are dealing with the user management and identity lifecycle. That is something that's always top of mind for administrators, SAP and non-SAP administrators out there. So we have a practitioner session, right, with Tobias and Oksana, both tech consultants, who will give, from a practitioner's view, best practices, architecture recommendations on how to do identity provisioning and authentication, how to set that up architecturally with BTP. Then we have another partner session, another session with Microsoft, actually, where Martin from Microsoft, Martin Repple from Microsoft, and Regine Schimmer from SAP, they will explain the integration that we have between BTP and Microsoft Entra. And if you're a customer that's still using SAP Identity Management on-premise right now, you should also tune in into that session, because Regine and Martin will also explain how you can move with us to the cloud. So it's a really recommendation here. And the last session about disaster recovery, so business continuity, is top of mind. I recommend also that session because Virat and Niklas, actually from our team here, who are spending a lot of time with customers on their requirements when it comes to business continuity, they're going to give some insights on how we are using our hyperscaler partners' infrastructures to make sure we mitigate outages, mitigate data loss, and all of these things. So that's what we have in the security and compliance track.
Great. I mean, a great overview, I think, and a lot of things to watch here. Now, if you're in front of the screen and the bread and butter already caught your eye and you say, oh, in my time zone it's currently lunchtime and I'm very hungry and I don't have time to watch all the sessions now, there are three essential links you should know. Number one is directly in the event platform, you see a next steps button. This will directly take you to the sap.com page, and this is where you find all the information that Steffen presented at the beginning and give you an overview also on customer stories, for example. And then the other two essential links are on the one hand side, the SAP BTP guidance framework and the Discovery Center. So the Discovery Center is your central entry point or starting point to really get hands-on experience. So you can go on a mission with us, discover all the different BTP services, dive into the reference architectures. And we also now have the SAP Business AI feature catalog live. This is probably also interesting and new. And then the guidance framework, this is the comprehensive place to go to for expert guidance. So we have a lot of different decision guides in there, for example, for extensibility, for integration. We have recommendations. We also link the reference architectures there. And here you will also find the best practices that are also covered in the different sessions. And with that,
so right now it's your turn because we're coming to answer your questions. So let's see what we already have. Maybe it's coming up, hopefully.
The workload is currently on, but do we also have
the questions
from the Q&A? And while we're waiting for the first questions, maybe
just ask the question.
Konstantin, I believe you mentioned it already a little bit, but we had yesterday, I believe, significant announcements around the Discovery Center that we just featured. Maybe you can, give a little bit of more insights into what's new on the Disco Center and why the viewers should check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you've attended TechEd last year, you've probably seen that the Discovery Center was last year enhanced with reference architectures. And just beginning of this week, we enhanced it with the SAP Business AI feature catalog and the so-called AI estimator. So you probably know the service estimator to give you a rough estimation of the services you would like to use in BTP. And we also have now the AI part of it. And in the XP100 you get more information on it.
So Steffen, one question from my side. Mm-hmm. What is the typical questions customers ask you in your presentations, or if you're at the customer side? Is there something which is mostly or frequently asked, or?
I mean, what is keeping our customers busy if they're already our BTP customers is, and that's something that I mentioned earlier, is really the demand for guidance and best practices in how to run BTP on a day-by-day basis, right? And that's also why we're super happy that we now have a learning journey for operations actually live since a couple of weeks, actually. We've also invested into a learning journey and a certification for BTP solution architects. That's something that I would like to highlight. So, because we believe only if you're well educated into how to set up BTP in your IT landscape and how to integrate it into your IT landscape, that is, then you're well prepared to adopt BTP. So the solution architect learning journey and certification, that is definitely something that is of high demand.
And maybe just let me add one thing. You mentioned the solution architect learning journey and certification. I think it's always a challenge to define what is actually the role of a solution architect and what are the skills required, because just doing, for example, a lot of BTP certifications is not the right choice. This is why we've also put an emphasis on really some methodological knowledge that is part of the certification.
Okay, and right now we have received a few questions. I'm quite happy. First one is BTP only for cloud? Can it be used with also for on-premise or with on-premise HANA?
Okay, so let me maybe give it a try and responding to that. So BTP is a public cloud platform as a service. So BTP runs in the cloud, but it absolutely can be used also with any on-premise system, right? So we have many customers who are connecting BTP for integration, for application development, for any scenario out there with an on-premise system. And we don't care whether it's S/4HANA, whether it's even in some cases ECC systems, older releases, whether it runs on the private cloud, whether these systems run in the public cloud, so you can integrate it with any system out there, and in particular, obviously, then also with SAP systems.
Great. Coming directly to the next question, I hope I can read it. Is BTP foreseen only for IT profiles or for business profiles too?
I can also give it a try. So obviously BTP is a technology platform, and with that most of our users are in the IT department, or many of our users are in the IT department. But what I think I mentioned it briefly in passing in the beginning, is that we also want to make sure that some of the services, if not all, can be used by business people who may be, a little bit better on the technical side. So if you think of SAP Analytics Cloud for dashboarding, I mentioned the Analytics Cloud Compass, definitely something that's of use for business users. If I look at low-code tooling for application development and the things that we do there, that is also something where tech-savvy business people can create, their own processes with the help of IT. And last but not least, we believe it is also very important that we foster this collaboration between the IT department and the business stakeholders, because only if you really interact and work together tightly here between those two types of users or stakeholders or parties, then you can create really value for the business quickly. And that's in the end what every persona at our customer wants.
Okay. Next question. I really like the word already because that's a perfect topic for the next session. What will be the perfect roadmap to master SAP BTP?
I'll try it again. So I can answer in two ways here. So number one, where's the information on the BTP roadmap, product roadmap? That's actually coming in the next session, XP100. So plugging here a little bit of an advertisement for that session. But if you're looking for how can I get up to date with what BTP delivers, right? How can I get up to date with how I can use BTP? I would recommend, number one, our learning journeys, obviously, and number two, the Discovery Center. So we've been featuring the Discovery Center quite a bit, and that's also something that we hear consistently from our customers. The Discovery Center as a first entry point, as a first step into the BTP world, it's a great source where you can get anything from technical information to scenarios, missions in the mission catalog, where you can then also implement live scenarios and in the end very easily, very quickly. So that's what I would say.
And if we are just talking about links, maybe something special for the roadmap, or not special, but my daily tool is the Roadmap Explorer. So there you see everything what is coming up, all the innovation highlights for the futures when we are planning to really go live with which feature. So this is also something I can really highly recommend, and I use it nearly every day. Okay,
And I also spotted a couple of questions that are very detailed. I mean, the good thing is if you join, for example, if you have questions about CI/CD or also other topics, feel free to join the other sessions, because also there you have Q&A parts and you're able to ask the questions. But this year we also have a new networking tool, which means when we go back after lunch, we basically can log in and you can reach us via the event platform and also ask us in our profiles the questions that we didn't answer now. So also use this opportunity and use the networking tool on the event platform.
Yes, and I think we still have time for another question. So let me just see. What has the highest votes? Let me take this one. So developing for BTP, CAP or RAP? So cloud application programming or RESTful application programming?
Yeah, a lot of acronyms in that in the question. So obviously the short answer is both, right? or all of the above, if you will. But it is really, and I highly recommend all the sessions from our application development track, right? So for the people who are interested in that specific questions, what do I develop on BTP? Do I develop with a cloud application programming model, meaning Java, Node.js, or do I develop in ABAP with a RESTful ABAP programming model? The application development track gives you all the answers here with all the experts. But in short, the answer is both. We offer both for good reasons, right? Both technologies, both approaches have their own space. Certain use cases where they're better used for, and certain use cases where they may be the second alternative, let's say. But we have, by intention, we're supporting all these languages and these development paradigms on SAP BTP. That's very important for us to highlight, because in former times there was always the question, Java or ABAP, where is SAP heading? And the clear answer here is both, right? And that's also, if you, again, trying to link it back to the keynote announcements today, that is also a reason why we're bringing all of our development tools and the development language together in SAP Build in a single solution here.
I just wanted to mention that we had some amazing announcement at our keynote today, really from Michael, I think, just regarding the ABAP topic. So it's worthwhile also listening then to the next sessions, really to follow up what we have on news there and how it concretely looks. Okay, coming to the next question. We do running S4 and ECC systems on-premise. How to integrate SAP BTP effectively?
We want to have a...
Well, I start from the integration perspective, because this is where I started as a consultant. I mean, when we look at integration, of course, I probably can recommend all the sessions in the integration tracks. So the SAP cloud integration capabilities. And also there, we will cover a lot of topics on the strategy and some aspects of the integration strategy. And I think this is the way to go for the integration part, if you want to add something else.
I believe you said it well. And what I also want to add is that we have both the integration suite as an integration platform as a service, as a full-fledged integration solution as part of BTP, but we also have what we call the cloud connector and the destination service, which is a technical service that facilitates that integration between BTP and on-premise systems. So we give both, let's say, the core technical services, but then also the larger integration solutions on BTP for you to effectively and efficiently integrate with your BTP, with your SAP systems, or also other systems, even if they're on-premise.
And not to forget the edge integration cell, right? This is probably also one of the important scenarios for specific use cases that will also be covered in the sessions there.
And here also shameless plug for the integration subtrack, right, where you have all the experts on our integration suite, on the integration technologies from BTP, who will give you deep dives over and over into the capabilities and how to use what.
Okay. And then we have also one question again with a lot of votes. So BTP for me is custom development for specific requirement of customer. What would you say about that?
I don't know in which direction this statement more than a question goes, but if I look at application development on BTP, so what we typically see is if you have specific requirements for a business application that we don't fulfill out of the box, out of our standard, then obviously you can, if it's an S4 system, you could do it with on-stack application development, or you could use BTP for that, yes. But it's not only about custom or requirements from a single customer. We have loads of partners. Michael mentioned nearly 3,000 partners right now who are building day-to-day on BTP, and many of them are also building standard solutions, right? So standard cloud solutions that they, again, then offer based on BTP then to their end customers. So it's not only about the individual customer requirement, it's also about creating cloud applications or application extensions that then usually would work in concert with an SAP solution here. And let me maybe just add one thing that I saw. The question was a little bit, pointedly phrased, let's say, is SAP doing away with the traditional way of building applications? And I believe the person asking the question was meaning ABAP development on stack. Absolutely no, that is still possible. And again, here, recommending for a deep dive in the application development tracks. But we see scenarios where it's still absolutely appropriate to do on-stack development, but there are many, many scenarios where it's even better to separate it from a software and innovation lifecycle and put it on a separate platform. And that's where we position BTP, where we recommend BTP. And again, if you go to the application development track, that's where you get first-hand information.
And even beyond, right? I mean, application development is one part, but also beyond that, we have a lot of different capabilities that support you also outside application development. And this is another focus on your session, right? And the strategy session where we cover that. And of course, also to mention all the other great tracks we have at TechEd for the topics.
Okay. So I see something else in the question, and I'm also very interested what would be the answer about that. What will be the best platform to learn SAP BTP for free? So really, I think we have many interested customers and partners outside because we receive many questions. And I think they really want to put hands on right now, try it out. So can you recommend something?
This is, again, the SAP Discovery Center. And you know what's actually great? You don't even have to scan the QR code. It's one of the easiest memorable URLs that we have. It's sap.com/disco, and you directly get without login to the Discovery Center. And what I mentioned as missions is really a way, like a tutorial, to really go step by step through the different scenarios and really apply hands-on experience to BTP services. So you can use a free tier account, a trial account, directly try it out. And it's always, when I present this also at customer events and partner events, always some great feedback because it's different from previous learning offerings that we had, because you directly get into action. And SAP Discovery Center is really your place to go to try this out.
And if I may add to that, let's not forget our learning.sap.com, I believe is the URL, our learning site at SAP. As we mentioned earlier, we have many learning journeys already for each individual service and solution on BTP from a features functions perspective. And what we're currently building out with the learning journey and certifications that I mentioned earlier is all the cross topics around architecture guidance, around operations, and all of these things. So you get both detailed information on cross topics for the platform, but also in every area of BTP, you're going to get very detailed information. And again, it's for free, right? So you can sign up there and get familiar with the platform.
Very good topic, Steffen, because we also have our learning zone and we get a special discount for everyone who registered for TechEd. So this would be also something where I can directly point you to. This was very good, Steffen. Okay, so let me see what else do we have. Oh, by the way, Discovery Center, I would also again recommend the XP180 later on with Nisboy and Marco. Checking the next question. I think we have a little bit more time. So very interesting because it's also focusing on AI, on our business solutions. Is Joule available on BTP?
Short answer, again, is yes. Obviously, Joule is also powered by BTP. So using BTP, we use BTP services to create and support Joule in all of our business applications. But also all the new AI features that we have talked about, that we will talk about around TechEd Virtual, those are enabled via Joule. So whether that's code generation in our development environments, the user interface here is Joule as the digital co-pilot here, the intelligent co-pilot from SAP. If we look at new ways of how to, let's say, generate integration flows or generate processes, or all of these things, everywhere where we put AI into BTP services, Joule is the interface to use these. That's what I would say.
And also here, another mention of the Discovery Center, so the SAP Business AI Feature Catalog. This is really the place to also find AI scenarios. So if you're interested, for example, what is available in SAP Field Service Management for AI, this is where you find the information. And with this new AI estimator, you also have now the opportunity, similar to the service estimator, to do the estimation for your scenario.
Sounds great. So let me check, what else do we have? What is the service for CI/CD called in SAP BTP? Is it part of SAP Build? So I'm not sure if it's already too detailed.
Well, definitely a pointer to the application development track and all of these things here. But we do have a CI/CD service on BTP, and it will also be integrated with part of SAP Build as we move forward. But again, for the details, let's go to the application development track, is what I would say.
Thank you. Then, I just heard we have so many questions. That's really amazing. Thanks a lot. So it seems like a really hot topic, SAP BTP. I will check the next question. Or Stefan, do you want to pick one?
I can pick one. The question here is, any integration with infrastructure providers, identity providers, e.g. Entra for Azure to authenticate? I believe that's what we have as part of our subtrack in the session XP something. So I mentioned that earlier, where you have Martin Repple from Microsoft and Regine Schimmer from SAP. Let me just look that up by going back 2 slides, I believe. So it's not XP something. It is XP202. So if you're the one who posted that question, I would recommend XP202 to get some details in here.
I'm a little bit disappointed you didn't remember all the numbers.
Not from the top of my head.
To underline again, the 2 sessions are partner sessions. So we will have presenters from Microsoft joining, really giving you information firsthand. And again, also the security entry-level session is something we recommend to get an overview and then deep dive into the details.
So Stefan Casimir will be disappointed if you don't remember the numbers.
Yeah, I'll try to do better next time. There is one interesting question that also caught my eye in here, and it's about migrating from on-premise to the cloud. So the question is, and thank you very much for asking the question, migrating from on-premise to BTP services, how seamless is it? And is SAP planning to move all the legacy services to BTP in the near future? And apologies if I take a minute or so to respond here, because that is actually a topic that's also very top of mind for many of our customers. Yes, we see our clear strategy is that we move to the cloud as SAP, right? So not a big surprise here, and that goes for both applications and for technology as well. So we see many of our customers who are currently still using on-premise technologies like BW, Business Warehouse, like PIPO, process integration, process orchestration for integration purposes. Then being faced with the question, how do we move to the cloud? Right? So is it a one-click transition? No, it is not, obviously. But it is really an important topic from us, from a product perspective, that we invest in migration tools, that we invest in migration guides, and that we set up specific programs to help our customers move with us from on-premise to the cloud. So it's a big focus for us. You will see more and more capabilities of, first of all, making sure that the things that you are looking for, because you know it from your on-premise systems in terms of features, functions, that we have it also in the cloud, and that we make the transition easier. But again, if the hope was that the answer is it's a one-click, no effort involved thing, unfortunately, I have to say no. But in particular on those 2 topics that I mentioned, BW and integration, there are detailed sessions in the respective tracks who will also cover that notion of coming to the cloud then from on-premise.
Sounds great. So I think we have just time for a very, very short question. Stefan, if you want to pick one very short one.
Let me check the last one. Thank you. What will be the future of SAP with GenAI? How will it be integrated? And I believe the answer here, it's not going to be an elaborate and long answer here, but it's a nice pointer as well to our AI track. Obviously, AI is everywhere right now in what we do in development, right? What we create with our engineering teams. AI is a topic that's top of mind, right, for everybody, and we have a significant portion of the TechEd capacity, if you will, of the session capacity allocated to AI tracks, to AI topics in the AI track. So I recommend for everybody who is interested in, you know, what role Gen AI or AI in general plays for SAP and for BTP, go look at those sessions where you, for instance, have Philipp Herzig, Walter Sun present, so our executives in charge, our experts on those topics, and you'll get all the information that you need.
Thank you. So I do not have a question for both of you, but for Casimir. I would like to ask Casimir, how did you like our session? So you see, I think it was quite excited. Thanks a lot to both of you for being here today, having this session. We are already at the end. Thanks a lot to all of you outside for really listening, for really watching, for viewing our session. And I hope, or we hope, that you will enjoy TechEd 2024. Thank a lot.
Thank you.